Carlos Ramirez-Rosa is resigning as chairman of City Council Zoning Committee and as Mayor Brandon Johnson's council floor leader. This decision comes just days after he was accused of making fun of the longest-serving black woman on council. Since floor leader position requires the trust of our colleagues in particular and have lost this trust with my behavior, I informed Mayor that we'll be leaving this position. I cannot afford the mistakes I made last week, but I hope we can rebuild our trust in each other as we move forward as a council to address the important issues affecting Chicago. The Black Caucus stood behind him and demanded Ramirez-Rosa's resignation as floor leader. With historic political tensions between blacks and Hispanics rising over the immigration crisis, Johnson could not afford to stand behind Ramirez-Rosa after he was accused of making physical contact with Mitts in an attempt to prevent Ramirez-Rosa from entering a special city council meeting. The special session was called in March to approve an advisory referendum asking Chicago voters whether Chicago should remain a sanctuary city. Ramirez-Rosa was frantically trying to persuade aldermen not enter council chambers, prevent aldermen Anthony Beale and Ray Lopez from reaching the 26-vote quorum they need proceed with meeting. Much has been said about the events of last week's special meeting of the Chicago City Council. Tensions were high in chaotic meeting, and I allowed it to get the best of me, leading me to behave in a manner unbecoming of leader. My colleague, Councilwoman Emma Mitts, for the disrespectful interaction outside the council chambers. Sincerely apologize to you. I also apologize to other colleagues, such as Alderpeople Lee, Cardona, and Taliaferro, who felt were disrespected, hurt by my actions. I feel terrible about everything that happened. I reached out to my colleagues to apologize directly and make amends. I made mistakes and learned valuable lessons. Our Chicago City Council does important work, and we look to each other for support, even when we strongly disagree on policy or approach. It's critical that we show respect. The people of Chicago deserve no less and have every right to demand it from us. Carlos Ramirez-Rosa speaks at the press conference where Brandon Johnson announced he is running for mayor in October 2022. NabongSun-Times Ramirez-Rosa's resignation came over the weekend after frantic negotiations aimed at finding a way to save his job. Sources said Johnson tried to reach Mitts for several days but to no avail. When Mayor finally reached him on Sunday, sources said Mitts told the mayor and his pastor that Ramirez-Rosa didn't put his hands on him as he tried to stop him from entering rooms, but when Mitts spoke to his Black Caucus colleagues Sunday night, sources said he told a different version of events. He actually supported Black Caucus Chair Stephanie Coleman, who led the event in an effort to get rid of Ramirez-R.